Is Return of the Living Dead Necropolis from 2005 awesome or awful? We're about to find out. Today we're talking about Return of the Living Dead Necropolis, the fourth installment in the Return of the Living Dead franchise. Is it awesome or awful? We're going to break that down today. Before we do that, make sure you're liking this video, make sure you're subscribing to the channel, make sure you're leaving your comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're going to be posting 2 videos a week and want to make sure that you know about it. Sign up for notifications. And again, like the video and leave your comments so I know what types of videos you want to hear next. Alright, so Return of the Living Dead Part 4, Necropolis. It takes place 10 years after Return of the Living Dead Part 3, which was filmed in 1993. This was a TV movie. An edited version of the film aired on the Sci-Fi Channel on October 15th of 2005, and the R-rated version of the film was released on DVD on April 18th, 2006. The film is directed by Ellory, Elkayem, who directed Eight-Legged Freaks, and pretty much nothing else. Charles, a scientist of the powerful and evil corporation Hybrid Tech, goes to Chernobyl to buy some gallons of toxic waste to perform experiments with zombies. When a teenager has an accident with his motorcycle and vanishes, his teenage friends, led by Charles' nephew, finds that he was moved to Hybrid Tech. They break into the facility, trying to find their friend, and accidentally release a group of zombies starving for brains. Alright, pretty straightforward. I mean, we've hopefully all seen the original Return of the Living Dead. If not, you should definitely check that out. You know, this is a horror franchise that released a bunch of movies. You know, they're all over the place, right? But let's break down the awesome parts of this movie. First off, we have a great quote from Hector in the movie. Quote was, "Nice pooper." So, you know, you can probably tell where we're going to go, and a quote like "nice pooper" is one of the awesome elements of the film. Another one is "send more security guards." It's a quote from this film which pays homage to the original Return of the Living Dead, in which a zombie who had been devouring a paramedic picks up the radio in the ambulance and says, "Sends more paramedics." Also, another awesome element was Godsmack's "I Stand Alone." Not sure if it fits here in the movie, but it is a cool song, so every time I watch this movie I forget that Godsmack their song was actually featured in there, so kind of cool. Unfortunately, that is all the awesome elements I have for this movie, so let's break down the awful parts. Minimal gore. 53 minutes into the movie, then zombies finally escape. You know, this is a TV movie, so there wasn't a ton of it. Even the R-rated version of the movie doesn't have a ton of gore. I'm not saying you need to have it, but when you're watching Return of the Living Dead, you kind of expect a few things like gore to be in there. Another awful element. The kids are on their way to rescue their friend, but still have some time to perform tricks on their dirt bikes on the road on the way there. It was so silly. This is just one of those elements. It's, you know, where poor writing comes into play, unfortunately. They're all worried because they don't know why their friend, who they thought was sent to the ER, some of which, you know, they thought he was dead, and then all of a sudden they realize that he's at Hybrid Tech, and for some reason on the way there they start doing tricks. That one always rubs me the wrong way. Another awful element. Hey, big boy, ever get your freak on with a triple jointed Sagittarian gymnast? Really? Diana, a thin hot blonde, utters this line to Hector. On that note, why is Hector just falling for that and not thinking that something is up? How many hot blondes is he getting to hit on him at work? By the way, she does end up screwing him off camera. I'm sorry, but that's just like ridiculous. Mud on. Just ridiculous. Throughout the original, the Return of the Living Dead trilogy, shooting zombies in the head did not kill them, which was a key plot point, yet in this film, it seems to work. However, the name of the gas changes from 2,4,5-trioxin to trioxin 5, which may indicate that these zombies are a little different. Again, kind of nitpicking, but you get where I'm going. Another awful element. Do you ever feel like taking a drill and boring a frickin' hole in your head so you can't let the screams out uttered by Zeke? Who writes this crap? Another awful element. Randomly, one of the kids pulls out his nunchucks to attack a zombie. What? Another one. All the kids become sharpshooters with the guns. Some of these kids, I'm assuming, had never picked up a gun before, but they were straight out of the army. Another awful element. Speaking of guns, they look like plastic toys. They could have done a little bit better. Another awful element, another poor story writing on this part. They all run out of ammo at the exact same time. Really? The chances of that? Another awful element. The slowest moving zombies of all time are attacking the kids in a parking lot. Instead of running for the car, Zeke decides to open fire on them. Another one. Of course, the car has trouble starting, even though it's just been sitting in a parking lot while someone was at work. Another awful part. Zeke is one of the most annoying characters in any horror movie, and they're not trying to make him annoying. That they could have played this off like he was supposed to be that character that you're supposed to hate, and really could have done well with that one, but you were supposed to actually like this guy. Another awful element. Zeke, after he does turn into a zombie, apparently fistfights people instead of trying to eat their brains. Interesting. Another part. You can also feel the full conversation in full sentences where most of the other zombies can only scream brains. Interesting. Another. Most of the zombie movements are so bad. Literally, I'm sure they did pick people off the street, but it seems like they were picking people off the streets and just being like, you just look like you shot or something. Another, finally, the last awful element. Sometimes the zombies move at a snail's pace. Sometimes they jump from windowsills like ninjas. So, that was the last of the awful. Basically, the whole entire video practically has been listing awful elements. So, the verdict on Return of the Living Dead Necropolis from 2005, is it awesome or awful? It is indeed awful. Alright, so thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're letting me know what videos you want to see next. But most of all, make sure you keep it hard.